Bethpage Black didn't just host a Ryder Cup, it turned into a full-blown brawl disguised as golf.
At one point, I thought we were going to have an all-out WWE brawl.
Fans were tossing beer cans, caddies were going at it with players, and by Saturday, Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy were dead center in the chaos. Bryson flexed like he was in a boxing ring, Rory snapped back, and boom, the internet exploded.
Level of abuse that you and others I know received this weekend. I mean, is it something that you just have to accept, or is it something that's taking the game in a dangerous direction?
No, I don't think we should ever accept that in golf.
Was this golf's most disgraceful meltdown or the greatest show the sport's ever seen? Stay locked in for the fallout. The Ryder Cup hit Bethpage Black in Farmingdale, New York from September 26th to 28th, 2025. And that course lived up to its savage rep, loud, mean, and totally unforgiving. But the real violence? It wasn't the fairway rough, it was the crowd's wild behavior. By day one, reports already said US fans took rowdy to a whole new level. Like, are you kidding me? Territorial heckling got ugly, real ugly. The chants turned into slurs, and yep, beer cans actually started flying through the air. Officials were scrambling like headless chickens, kicking out fans, tightening security, and straight up begging the crowd to calm down. Spoiler alert, nobody chilled out. On the scoreboard, Team Europe and the US were neck and neck, trading punches like prize fighters. But the headlines, they weren't about golf scores anymore. A BC News ESPN. Everybody was talking about the chaos, the confrontations, the crowd gone wild. Social media blew up with shaky clips of fans screaming insults at European players. Even the commentators couldn't fake it. This wasn't banter, this was straight up abuse creeping into the broadcast. And that's the wild part. Golf had officially lost its cool. The Ryder Cup has always fed off chaos. The pressure, the pride, the chest-thumping nationalism. But Bethpage 2025, that wasn't passion anymore, that was pure carnival brawl energy. The crowd wasn't just heckling European players, they were inside their heads, sparking on-course meltdowns that flipped the whole vibe. By Saturday, Team USA's so-called home advantage looked more like a PR disaster on live TV. Everybody could feel it. This cup wasn't about who could sink the most putts, it was about who could survive the madness. At one point, it looked like a full-blown brawl was about to break out right on the green. And then came Saturday's 4-ball match, the moment that defined the chaos. Hole 15, a brutal par 3. Tight pin, roaring crowd, nerves on fire. It was the perfect recipe for disaster. Everyone realized quick, this Ryder Cup wasn't about golf anymore. It was survival out there. For a second, it looked like we were watching a full-on WWE match instead of a tournament. Saturday's 4-ball showdown gave us the clip that defined the whole feud. Hole 15, a nasty par 3, had everything. Tight pin, fans losing their minds, and nerves hanging by a thread. Justin Rose stepped up, eyes locked, lining up his putt, while Bryson DeChambeau's caddy, Greg Bodine, crouched nearby trying to read the green. Rose sank his putt clean, then suddenly snapped. He threw a sharp gesture, barking at Bodine to move out of the way. That's when things went nuclear. Bryson's crew started yelling back, arms flying everywhere, the tension exploding like someone lit a match in a gas leak. They shuffled forward with that "try me" energy. Body language screaming, "We're not backing down." Cameras locked in instantly while officials sprinted over, desperate to stop what looked like it could turn into a full-blown shove fest. The whole thing barely lasted a few seconds, but in Ryder Cup drama, a few seconds can live forever. NBC Sports caught every angle, every glare, every twitch. ESPN slowed it down like it was the Zapruder film, and Twitter lost its mind. They crowned it the Bethpage blow-up. Was it mind games? Was it about respect? Or just two teams snapping after 48 straight hours of chaos, booze, and pressure? Depends on who you ask. But what really stuck was the image. Justin Rose, the seasoned vet drawing his line in the sand, and Bryson, the American powerhouse refusing to back an inch. And right there, in that tiny burst of greenside drama, golf's fragile etiquette just shattered wide open. The fans couldn't get enough of it. Suddenly, the Ryder Cup wasn't about lifting a trophy anymore. It was about who'd win the fight. Was this pure passion or straight-up poison? Are these wild crowds what make the cup electric, or did we just watch the sport cross a line? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this debate is on fire. After the chaos, Bryson did what Bryson always does. Grabbed the mic and turned it into a headline. In his post-round interview, he brushed it off like it was nothing but Ryder Cup intensity, his favorite excuse. But he didn't stop there. He leaned right into the rivalry, smirking through quotes about how Europe knows how to work a crowd and how players need to respect positioning on the greens. Classic Bryson, doubling down when everyone else was trying to cool off. And then came the kicker. Bryson name-dropped without really name-dropping. When asked if he felt targeted, he smirked and said that certain Europeans always seem to bring the drama. Everyone knew exactly who he meant. Rory McIlroy. Rory had already been torching the crowd's behavior in his pressers, so yeah, the headlines went wild. Bryson calls out Rory. Did he literally? Not quite. But did he pour fuel on the narrative? Oh, absolutely. Sky Sports jumped on the chest-thumping showdown angle. Golf Magic spun the respect quotes, and suddenly Bryson was being painted as the all-American gladiator inside golf's modern-day Coliseum. Smart PR move? Maybe. Gasoline on the fire? No question. That's Bryson's game. Part genius, part chaos, and somehow always the loudest guy in the room. Bryson lives for chaos. He feeds off it. But at the same time, he swears the world's got him all wrong. At Bethpage, he had everything he thrives on. Hecklers firing him up, cameras glued to his every move, and the media twisting his quotes into viral theater. Whether or not he actually has beef with Rory, Bryson knows one thing for sure. In the Ryder Cup, perception counts just as much as points. And he played that game like a master. But while Bryson leaned into the noise, Rory McIlroy tried to drown it out. The Northern Irishman was battling the crowd all week. The chants, the jeers, the nasty taunts that went from playful to downright personal. By Saturday, he hit his breaking point. NBC's cameras caught him freezing mid-round, jaw locked tight, then snapping with a fierce verbal clapback at a cluster of hecklers. The clips blew up instantly. Rory had finally had enough. Rory's veins were popping. You could see the fury written all over his face. He told fans straight up that enough was enough. And when he hit those press conferences, the filter was gone. He called parts of the crowd abusive, and then came the bombshell. Reports said a beer can actually hit his wife in the gallery. That one detail flipped everything. This wasn't just sports frustration anymore. It was raw human outrage. There's passion, Rory told reporters. And then there's crossing the line. The media ate it up like candy. Overnight, Rory wasn't just Team Europe's leader. He became golf's moral compass, the one calling out where respect ends and chaos begins. But here's the wild twist. In the Ryder Cup, chaos sells. The more Rory scolded the fans, the louder the clips blew up online, and the chants, they only got crazier. Social media was split right down the middle. Respect versus rage. American fans called Rory soft, while European supporters crowned him a warrior under fire. The visuals were too good to ignore. Bryson grinning through the booze-soaked chaos, Rory fuming through the insults. Fire and ice, swagger and fury. If Bryson wanted a rivalry story, Rory just signed the other half of the deal, live in front of millions. By Sunday, this wasn't about pars or birdies anymore. It was Bryson versus Rory. Chaos made flesh on both sides of the Atlantic. Two titans feeding off the madness. So tell me, are you Team Bryson or Team Rory? Smash that subscribe button for every twist in this feud, cause this war's just getting started. And buried beneath all that chest-thumping drama, a smaller, overlooked subplot that might just change everything. The Caddies, usually the quiet shadows of golf, suddenly became part of the spectacle at Bethpage. Greg Bodine, Bryson's right-hand man, turned into the lightning rod the moment Justin Rose told him to step aside on the 15th. But that wasn't just a one-time spark. All week long, cameras kept catching caddies edging into sightlines, leaning over putt paths, hovering just a bit too close for comfort. In golf terms, that's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Etiquette, the sacred glue holding the sport together, had become a war zone. Rose's outburst wasn't just about irritation, it meant something deeper. A veteran drawing the line saying, "Respect the game." And Bryson's camp barking back? That was Team USA making a statement of their own. We're not backing down, not even an inch. When the chaos finally cleared, Europe hoisted the trophy. But honestly, the score barely mattered. What stuck were the bruises, both physical and reputational. Fans got tossed out, players were rattled, and headlines screamed about abuse, brawls, and broken etiquette. This Ryder Cup wasn't just golf anymore. It was a full-blown spectacle teetering on WWE territory. And once the dust settled, the fallout split the world of golf into three camps. First, the sportsmanship police, demanding tighter rules, more security, and questioning if Bethpage should ever host again. Second, the player accountability crew, saying stars like Bryson and Rory need thicker skin and cooler heads under pressure. And third, the chaos lovers, the fans who swore this wild energy is exactly what makes the Ryder Cup unforgettable. Golf Digest and Golf.com went full investigator mode, zooming in on every caddy move like it was a crime scene tape. Was Bodine really blocking Rose's line? Was it innocent, or was he playing mind games? No one could agree, and that's exactly why it blew up. In Ryder Cup culture, even a tiny gesture becomes myth. One crouch, one glance, and suddenly it's national-level gamesmanship. And while fans were going wild outside the ropes, the etiquette inside the ropes got dissected like never before. That little flash of tension between Rose and Bodine turned into days of debate, viral clips, and millions of views. The caddies stole the spotlight, proving that sometimes the quietest figures on the green can carry the biggest noise. So what do you think? Harmless intensity or straight up disrespect? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and make sure to subscribe to Lana Sip for more wild sports drama and golf chaos. Nobody wanted to sugarcoat it. Bryson kept leaning into that tough guy act, calling anyone who couldn't handle the pressure weak, brushing off all the tension as just part of the game. Meanwhile, Rory doubled down too, demanding that organizers finally draw the line between passion and pure abuse. Justin Rose and a few other veterans tried to stay cool, but their faces on that 15th hole told the whole story. Behind the scenes, officials were already reviewing security, quietly admitting Bethpage had turned into full-blown carnival chaos. And the biggest twist? This feud's gonna outlive the final score. Clips of that 15th hole, Rory snapping at hecklers, Bryson smirking in interviews, they'll keep replaying for years. The rivalry both sides pretend to downplay, it's the very fuel that keeps the Ryder Cup alive. Because the truth is, this tournament doesn't just survive chaos, it needs it. So tell me, should golf keep its edge or bring back the calm? Drop your take below, smash that like, and subscribe to Lana Sip for more raw sports drama and stories that shake the green. But Bethpage 2025 proved one thing. That fine edge between passion and chaos can cut deep. The final score might fade into history, but this rivalry, it's here to stay. So what do you think? Was Bethpage a total disgrace to golf, or the Ryder Cup's most electrifying showdown ever? Drop your thoughts down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to Golf Swing for every twist before the next epic clash.